This video will help you identify which graphing method to use when you're given two different forms of linear equations. One form is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and another commonly used form is standard form, ax plus by equals c. Remember, in slope-intercept form, that the m equals slope and the b equals the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. In standard form, the a, the b, and the c are coefficients and don't mean anything directly on the graph just yet. We're going to use that equation to calculate some ordered pairs. Taking a look at the equations on the screen, y equals 2x minus 4 hopefully is very obvious to you that that is in y equals mx plus b form. Because it's in that form, it makes the m and the b quick and easy to identify. M is 2 and b equals negative 4. Remember, slope is the change in y over the change in x, so it might be easier to think of this as 2 over 1. And your b is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept ordered pair, so it might be easier to think of this as 0, negative 4. When using this method, you always want to start with the y-intercept. Sometimes we even call it your starting point. So I'm going to put a point at 0, negative 4. And then I'm going to use my slope to determine the next point, which is positive 2, 1. The change in y is positive 2. I'm going to go up 2. And to the right 1 because it's a positive 1. I'm going to do it again to make sure I'm on the right track. Up 2 over 1. Generally speaking, once you have 3 points on your graph, that's a good time to add your line. Because all of my points were connected on that straight edge, I am pretty confident that I did it correctly. If one of my points was not on that straight edge, I might need to go back and double check to see where I made a mistake. Moving on to the second equation, 2x minus 1y equals 5, I recognize right away that that is standard form. When you're graphing with standard form, you're going to be best off identifying or calculating the intercepts before you do anything else. I'm using a t-chart to do that. To find my intercepts, I need to put in 0 for y to find the x-intercept and 0 for x to find the y-intercept. To find that x-intercept, I'm putting 0 in for y. So now I have 2x minus 1 times 0 equals 5. To simplify that equation or solve that equation, 2x equals 5 because negative 1 times 0 is 0. And I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to get that x alone or isolate it. X equals 5 over 2. I fill that in on my t-chart and now I'm ready to move on to find my y-intercept. I do the same thing, only I'm putting 0 in for x this time. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 1y equals 5. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1 to get that variable isolated, and y equals negative 5. So I can fill that in on the chart over here. Those are both ordered pairs, so I can use that information to plot points on my graph. 5 over 2 and 0 means 2.5, about right here. And 0, negative 5 is on the y-axis, which is about right here. Now that I have those 2 points, I can use a straight edge or a line to connect them. To review, when you're given an equation in slope-intercept form, you want to identify the slope and the y-intercept and use that information to draw your graph. When you're given an equation in standard form, you want to calculate the intercepts and then use those 2 points to identify your line or graph your line.